Hi guys, welcome back. I'm Brianna,
I'm a Haro.
And I'm Demaya.
and this is She Thinks She Knows podcast. Hi guys, welcome back. For today's episode, we decided we want to talk about style. I feel like all three of us have kind of gotten more interested in building up our fashion sense, our items of clothing, things like that. And so thought that this would be a pretty good episode to sort of talk about how we got to this point. Um, also, I thought that this would be a good episode because a little while ago we used to do these little style challenges, and it was really fun. And I feel like it said a lot about how we viewed our own style and each other's style. And so I feel like you guys would enjoy sort of our thought process on that as well. So without further ado, I guess my first question would be, how did you guys establish your style and what inspired that?
I think of style. Well, I've always thought about style as more of like a mindset thing. And I think I've come to realize it's kind of a reflection of people's personality, at least my personality, I feel like. But I didn't recognize style or fashion in myself or anything like that for a long time. I think, for most of my life, it was more so just clothes are what you wear. You have to wear clothes. And I think that the evolution of my style just came from getting out of the environment where I was kind of just wearing whatever. I think in high school, us having to wear uniform at our high school, I think that kind of gave me an out to be more so just dismissive of style and fashion. I think it was just kind of okay, I'm gonna wear, uniform because I have to. I think it wasn't until towards the end of high school and in college is when I really wanted to embrace my own personal style. And I think that also has to do with me just from my, in my household, I guess, we just never really were people who shopped around, or we weren't oh yeah, I want to buy clothes. If we had spare change, clothes would not be any type, that wouldn't be a priority. I think that up until I was in high school, I had only been to the mall less than 10 times in my life, no joke. And I wasn't somebody who just was into shopping because I was never I had never done that before. But yeah, so when high school came around and then college, I feel I started growing an interest in fashion and interest in looking good and taking control of how I looked. And I think that's when I started establishing what I did like and what I didn't like in fashion. A lot of mishaps here and there. College, freshman year, a lot of mishaps, a lot of trying to be, cute and having all these not cliche, but stereotypical freshman clothes. Until I think, I slowly started to build a sense of style that fit me or that I like. And I think I'm still building it, but yeah.
I feel like my story's kind of the opposite of Maharo. I, as a child and as a young person, I kid you not, I was in the mall every week, multiple times a day. And definitely and the women in my family, specifically in my household, my mom, or not even just my household, but the women that I would see every day. So my mom, my her best friend, which I call my aunt, my sister, my cousin Cherie, they were all into clothes. I remember when my sister Dominique, she's always worked in clothing retail. And I remember when I was a kid, she used to work at this store called Delia's. Do you guys remember that store, Delia's?
No.
Well, it was kind of like Aeropostale and American Eagle and all those things. I think they're probably on the same chain, honestly. Aerie, all that stuff. So I remember she used to work there, and she would always bring these cute stuff home. And my mom and my aunt, they would be getting stuff from there, I think. And I always used to be oh, I wish I could fit the stuff in Delia's. But and surprisingly enough, I always used to get Gap stuff from Gap. And I was looking at my self in the mirror today, or when I went to the bathroom today, I'm like, this whole outfit that I have on is from Gap. Like, how rare is that? Like, I don't have that many clothes from Gap anymore. But I remember that when I was a kid, like, I used to have so much stuff from Gap. And so I guess you could say my personal style was established by the women around me. My cousin, myself, and my little cousin Sadi. Like, we all used to have the same versions of the same stuff. I remember we had these like ballerina flats, and they were like metallic. I had the pink ones, I think, and she had the green ones, and like they tie up around your ankle. And so we just used to love like getting dressed. And my sister also, because my sisters are mad older than me, so she used to host fashion shows in her college every year. And so every year, me and my little cousins, we would be a part of the fashion show. If I could find a picture of when Sadi and I were on the fashion show, and I'll put it on like our story when this episode comes out. But we would always be in the fashion shows. So like clothing and fashion has always been a thing for me. And honestly, it's fun.
For me, I think I had a little bit of both. So growing up as a kid, I didn't really care about, like clothes and getting dressed because I was always outside. I was always getting dirty. Like, I was just playing around. My clothes didn't last very long. So like, I never cared too much for them. But I did have older sisters who were into like getting dressed and doing makeup and doing hair and all of that stuff. And they were sort of like, Brianna, you can't, like, you need to start getting dressed. You need to start, doing your hair. You need to start doing this and that. And I'm like, no, I don't. Leave me alone. I don't care. It doesn't matter. Like, I just didn't really have like oh my gosh, yeah, like I want to be dressy, that's like, I really didn't care. But then, preteen years started to come around, and like elementary school is over. And like at elementary school, you don't really care for any of that stuff. Like you're a kid, you're still thinking about playgrounds and, like that's all that matters. But then once, middle school started, and I'm like, okay, now I'm feeling like, okay, I got to look, a certain way or whatever the case may be. So I always looked at how my sisters dressed. And like in our household, we always like shopping for me growing up wasn't really like a necessity, but we did just like going places, So I didn't really buy stuff, but I just like going places for just like the ride or whatever. But when they would go to like the mall and stuff, I would go with them and I'd walk around. And we also like shared a lot of our clothes, like, because that's just like, I don't know, I just shared their clothes. I'm like, oh, can I borrow this? Can I borrow that? Like, I don't want to really shop for myself because it was so like, it was just time consuming. Like, I just felt like it was a waste of time to walk around every single store, look through racks. Like, it was too much. So I'm like, can I borrow this? Can I borrow that? And so they would sometimes dress me, like my sister would be like, let me do your makeup. And my other sister, I remember it was one year, it was my birthday. And I was like, oh, I don't know what to wear. And so I was like asking my other sister, I'm like, Zaina, can you help me? So she like put this outfit together. I don't know if you guys remember, it was that one time I was in ninth grade. What year was
when you went to her school?
It was ninth grade, and I had those nude heels on that were like mad tall and some jeans, and I had on like this white and black. I don't even know what the pattern is called, but it was like that pattern. No, it wasn't. It was like a black and white, and it kind of looked like a weird shape. I don't know. It was like some type of cardigan. And like, I thought it was so cute because like my sister had put it together and she's like, yeah, wear this. Mind you, I really didn't have much practice walking in heels, but I just felt like, like I'm wearing heels. And I think that's sort of when I was just like, okay, I want to dress up now. Like, and so my style kind of got established at that point. Really, it was just sort of looking at how my sisters were kind of dressing all the time when they went out, and me growing up and being a teenager and realizing like you can't dress like a tomboy. Like you can't dress like a kid that still plays outside and scratches up her knees. Like, you gotta start to put outfits together. But because I didn't really shop that much, I didn't even know how to establish my style. Like I just went in the store and picked up anything that was just like, I can buy this. Like, you know, I didn't put anything together. I just bought items of clothes. Like I would have like a skirt here and a t-shirt there, and none of this stuff went together. So like, I'm just like, okay, so what next? Like I have the clothes, but I don't really know how to dress. So how do you do this? And I think I gave up like after a certain point in time, and I just started to wear jeans and jeans and graphic tees, and like that was it. Like Converse was like my thing, so I'll always have like a Converse jean and a graphic t-shirt, and that was like my style for that period of time of me like not really wanting to establish a style. And so like that was like, you know, my thing, sneakers. And then I think it was freshman year. It was freshman year of college that I was forced to pretty much figure out how to dress because, you know, you're a college student. I was learning how to do my hair and everything at that time. So I'm like, okay, like, let me get dressed. But I was still wearing like comfortable type of clothing, you know, like black jeans, t-shirts, sneakers, Vans. Like I like bought all the basic shoes. I'm like, okay, let me get a pair of checkered Vans. Let me get a pair of black Vans. Let me get a pair of high top Vans. Like, you know, all this essentials, quote unquote, of a college student. And also I was broke. So all of like my quick styles came from like JCPenney or like Target, where you just get like a simple black crop top, black pants. Like it really wasn't style at all. And then I don't know what
the pandemic.
Yeah, getting my, but also like honestly, I would say like to a certain extent, you and Mahar, like I feel like Demai always had like a weird, not weird, but like in my eyes, it always seemed like experimental style. So like when I would see kind of like how she would put all these random, obviously I'm like, oh, that's kind of cute. And it made me like want to experiment a little more. And same with Maharo, like Maharo, even though the way she kind of described her style being like, I just threw things together, like it always seemed like it fit her personality. So I was just like, okay, maybe I should experiment with my style a little bit more. So I just started to dress like how I was feeling. Like I would dress whatever my mood was. And I think that kind of helped me practice. So in college, it's like, okay, fall's coming. I want to wear plaid. Like, I feel like going dark today. Like I just started to, you know, describe, okay, how am I feeling and would I want to walk outside with this? And eventually, certain colors I noticed fit me better, and certain like lengths of things. Like I always liked skirts. And so I always wanted to figure out how can I incorporate skirts in an outfit if I don't have a dressy top. So like skirts and like shirts went and things like that. And just sort of like being more confident in experimenting with my style helped me see what I liked and what I didn't like. So down the line, I realized like, okay, I don't really want to keep wearing Converse because they kind of hurt my feet. Like, you know, but I had this one pair that I really loved. So I kept those only. I realized like I really do like sneakers. I just didn't have the money. So when pandemic came around, I went crazy on sneakers, and I liked heels, but I realized heels is not something you could just wear on a regular day. And there was a period of time where I thought, oh, I'm gonna wear heels as a regular thing. And so I went and had a phase where I was buying all these booties. Like, so it just, you know, all of that kind of just summed up to me liking things like, you know, when I dress up, I want to wear heels. Like that's what it is. Like I want to wear heels when I dress up. I like neutral tones, but I also like pops of color. Like I don't really stay with the same thing. And that's because like every time I experimented with my style, there was something out of it that I liked. So I really just took everything, accumulated together. And now I'm at a point where I still dress how I feel, but I just know now how to put things together. So yeah, I don't know if that answered the question, but and to who inspired me, I would just say to sum up, my inspiration would be my older siblings, a little bit of you guys, honestly, and Brianna, that she inspired me to like just wear my clothes and not let my clothes wear me, you know? So yeah.
So I think Brianna kind of hit on it. But the next thing we wanted to talk about was the evolution like of our style. And I was just thinking about, wow, I used to do this, used to do that. Like when I heard Brianna Maharo speaking. So one of the things that's very interesting for me is that like I did not wear sneakers all the way up until, because I don't count Converse as sneakers. So they're shoes. Like, So I did not wear sneakers all the way up until high school. And I remember like when I did get a new pair of sneakers, it would be one a year because that's how little I would wear it. And I remember my mom would always get us like, you know how the Valentine's Day sneakers used to come out. I remember she used to get me and my sisters the Valentine's Day sneakers. But I don't ever really remember wearing them. From a kid, I only ever remember one pair of sneakers. I think there was some type of Air Jordan shoe, and my sister bought it for me. It was purple, white, and teal, and I wore those things out. But those are the only sneakers I ever wore because I was always wearing flats and like cardigans, and like my mom, she was always picking out my clothes. Like even today, like I'm like, Mom, like what do you think about this? And then I would say like I always like dressing up, and then like our moms would always make sure like our uniforms are dressed up too. So me, myself, and my cousin Sadi, like we used to wear, you know, the strap, the shoes that you wear when you're a kid, like the school shoes. We used to get those, but they wouldn't be just the blue ones that everybody had. They would like go to Shoe Depot or whatever the stores used to be. Oh, look at these, they're brown, they have little cute flowers on them. And even like the ball, like the ballies, I call them ballies, the balls that you put in your hair. Like she would always put different ones on and put a cardigan on me and stuff like that. And so I always like had that, oh, I want to dress my uniform up. So when I got to Renaissance and you could wear scarves, that was my favorite thing to do. Put a scarf on with my uniform, any color. And then I would like make the shoes match. And then around like 7th grade, that's the time when I started flat ironing my own hair. Whew. So I would be like doing my hair every week on the Sunday, flat ironing my hair and picking out my outfit for Monday. But it always had like a scarf with it. And then like, you know how in Renaissance you could wear the any color sweater as long as it has a college name on it. So that was my new quest. Like, let me see what your new college sweaters I could get, this and that. And then on dress down days, because you only had dress down day like once a month in Renaissance. But I remember like every time my mom, she would like be like, okay, like let's go get you something to wear on dress down day. So every dress down day, we would pick out a nice new outfit. So that used to be really fun. And now I don't really know how to describe my style or I don't know how to say it's evolved, but I do wear a lot more sneakers now. In fact, heels are a no for me, which I need to get into, but I feel like I could just dress any sneaker up. And so that's a big change for me because I only started wearing sneakers in like 11th grade. That's when I bought like a couple pair of sneakers with the money that I made over the summertime. But yeah, like I had this button-up shirt on like with some sneakers today. So I really do like wearing sneakers. And I don't know what I was gonna say. But yeah, that's how my style has evolved.
That is that's interesting. I feel like out of both Brianna and Demaya, I think like I definitely remember when Demaya was talking about the scarves, like I definitely remember her always wearing a scarf, and that's really interesting. But for some reason, it always seemed like she was into sneakers. Maybe that's because I met you when you were in high school, but that is really interesting.
My thing was Uggs. Like I had like 5 pairs of Uggs. Like in middle school and the beginning of high school, it was Ugg boots and Ugg moccasins.
You know,
I went through that Sperry phase, that Tom's phase.
I still have yet to get a pair of Uggs, and honestly, I don't think that's ever gonna be me. But I think I kind of talked about this when I first started talking with the evolution, like when it came to college. I think that I was very much like okay, when it was in my free time and when I could choose, this is like non-uniform. I think I had like a avant-garde, like just throwing things together. And I think that was very unintentional in the beginning. And then I think now it's more intentional, but it's still kind of like that. I think like college, oh my gosh, like I think I've evolved a lot even since freshman year of college. Like I was literally just wearing any graphic tee, and sometimes not even graphic, but I don't know how to describe it because I feel like, you know, those Forever 21 type of shirts, like they're not exactly
LA.
graphic. Yeah, they'll say something like, oh, like Monday, like I don't know, they'll say stupid things like in the corner and they'll be like one color, but I was wearing a lot of those and like jeans, and they'll be the same kind of like skinny jeans. And I think just even looking at that article of clothing, jeans, like I think the jeans I wear now, or the kind of pants that I wear now, like kind of really show evolution. I think I kind of leaned into things that I liked. And it was hard because like I didn't really, I don't know, I couldn't see inspiration in other people because like I felt like I couldn't replicate, or like I'm not gonna buy the same thing that I see, especially when it comes to like people that are famous or popular. Like I'm not buying that. Like I can't even afford that. So I feel like it was more so just trying to figure out what I actually liked, rather than like, oh, what's normal to wear, like what do other people wear, like what's just expected. I think like, and that came with like, I know Demai was just talking about like her and her mom picking out outfits together, but I feel like in my family, like I just have a different style for, especially my mom, but like just with my siblings and stuff in general. So like if I was to ask somebody, oh, do you like this? And they're like, no, that looks crazy. Like it came for me to understand that like just because somebody else doesn't like something, like doesn't mean that I don't like it and it wouldn't look nice on me and I, you know, I wouldn't want it. And so I think once I understood that, like I really picked up my sense of style and being like, okay, like I like this, even if somebody else doesn't think it's cute or whatever, like I think it's cute. And I think now, like when I was talking about jeans earlier, like wearing skinny jeans all the time, like I really wouldn't be caught dead in skinny jeans now. Like I'm not even kidding. Like I feel like I prefer loose pants. I actually wear more pants that are not jean material. I like loose fitting jeans. I like jeans that can be like form fitting, but more so low rise jeans, if anything. And then they would have like a flare or something like that. I just think skinny jeans are just not it. Like they're not comfortable. They're not that cute. And when it comes to like tops, I kind of like I like earth tones. I think, yeah, I really do like earth tones. I like grays. I like the tight and loose combo. Like like if you're wearing a loose top and tight pants, or tight pants and loose top. Did I just say the same thing? If you're wearing
a tight top,
tight top and loose pants, or loose pants and a tight top. Did I just say the same thing again? Sorry.
Tight pants, loose top, tight top, loose pants.
Yeah. And yeah, I also like dressing up. I think my style is like it's still evolving. I think especially now, I've been trying to get rid of my old clothes and stuff like that. And so it's definitely gonna evolve more before the year ends. And I'm like very much like, I can't wait until it does, because I just think that I want to build a good wardrobe, but also I'm somebody who kind of changes their mind a lot. And so I think some things that I consider like cheap, I rotate in and out. But overall, I think I've definitely evolved in terms of just wearing what's comfortable and what I think is cute and like not necessarily functional, but like just nice.
So if you guys follow any, what are some trends that you follow or have followed? I guess I can go, honestly. So like I was saying, in the beginning of college, the trend that I followed was really just like be the most basic you can be because I didn't have my own style at that point. And there was, while I was experimenting with sort of getting into the groove of like dressing the way that I felt, or like kind of bringing personality out in my style, I also didn't really want to test the waters too much, because it was like I was a freshman in college, you're kind of nervous, and you don't want to show up somewhere just looking kind of crazy. So I was just like, okay, let me just make sure that I have all of the basics down, so that way, if anything, like if worse comes to worse, I can just look like everybody else. So like black crop tops, biker shorts, like, you know, I don't even know. Honestly, I feel like it was just a lot of black stuff, like just cheap. Like that was just it. Something you could get quick that you didn't really care for if it got messed up. that was like a trend, I guess, that I followed in college, and it didn't last very long. Because you know, you have Snapchat memories and you look back at them and you're like, Jesus Christ, like that does not look good. Like, and sometimes I'll be like Mahar and Demar, I'm like, why would you guys let me dress like that? Like, why would y'all have me walking out looking like this? Like, you know, y'all could have told me to throw something else on. Like, you know what I mean? And also I think another trend that I kind of followed was like the high-rise skinny jeans. Mm-hmm. And kind of similar to Mahar, like skinny jeans, they're not really, I think it's more of like the material of the jean that really just was not it. Like the Hollister and the Aeropostale, like those jean jegging really quality pants were just, I really like during that time, it just seemed like the easiest thing to go with, because at that time I was wearing graphic tees and like, I didn't really want to experiment with loose pants because, you know, I was a tall girl and I didn't really know how to make that stuff work. And so skinny jeans was just it for me. But that was a trend that I just kind of held on to because I didn't really want to experiment too much outside of like what I already knew. So that's what I knew. I would say those were two trends that I followed. But now, honestly, I'm like turned off by trends. Like if I, it's hard to get away from them, honestly, because everywhere you look, it's like everyone's trying to do the new thing. So it's really hard to get away from a trend without stepping completely out of like your own comfort zone. And so I've just kind of stopped looking at trends as like something to follow and more so just sticking to what it is that I like for myself or what I know I would be comfortable wearing or experimenting with. So like right now, there was like a period of time where I got swept up into a trend without even trying. And it was that whole neutral color phase. And honestly, like during the time of me like getting into it just so happened that every time I picked up something, it was in that color range. And then it was one time I just looked in my closet and I'm like looking at my hangers. I'm like, there's too much tan and there's too, you know, and I'm like, oh my gosh, you guys, like, I can't let this be my color. You know, I can't let this take over my closet. Like, I don't want to look like everybody else. And I started to get kind of like, you know, turned off by it. But that just sometimes things just happen. So like, I knew that wasn't going to be the case forever. Like I like colors. So obviously my outfit wasn't just going to be neutrals, but I had a little moment where I was like, you can't even run away from these trends half the time. Like you think you're doing something different and then you go on Instagram and you're like, not quite, you know? So that's my experience with trends and things like that.
Yeah. I mean, on trends, like, if you shop in like the store, if you shop online, like that's gonna be what your selection is. So at one point or another, you're gonna be on a trend, whether you like it or not, because that's what they're offering you. But one of the trends that I follow that I've been really into for the last few years is like sneakers with dresses, sneakers with skirts. Like that's one of my favorite things, and I don't really plan on getting rid of it anytime soon because it's my favorite. And now, my mom's on it too. So she buys so much sneakers now. And she's like, oh, I could wear this with a cute dress, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, oh, really, Ma? Really? So she's on that trend too. But it's an accessory, but it's still a part of my outfit. Another trend that I follow, I guess, is like scrunchies, and it's like hair clips. This summer I started getting into hair clips because I was seeing them on TikTok. I'm like, oh my gosh, like I really like those. And before, like I don't know how I used to wear my hair, to be honest, but I wear my hair in like a lot of French braids now, or like buns. And so I'm like, wow, like this would be such a cute addition. Because once again, like you can dress a hair clip up or you can dress a hair clip down. And same with the scrunchie, in my opinion. So those are some trends that I'm into as well. But in terms of like when I was younger, like all these trends that were out, like for example, like Levi's jeans, like stuff like that. I never got into them. I always wanted to when I was younger though. Oh, like everybody's wearing this, like I want to get that. But my mom, she just didn't really shop in those stores. Like, and so it was always like H&M, Gap, like, So I never really got on those trends, but there were so many that I wanted to follow when I was younger. And in college, freshman year, to be honest, I think we've all come such a long way because I thought I was really doing something. And I'm not gonna lie, like I didn't look too crazy, but now I would like not wear some of those things that I wore in freshman year. So it's just interesting because once again, like I was basically broke too. So I was really just repeating clothes and just remixing a lot. And it's just interesting that like it didn't feel like that in the moment. Um, Oh, and then another trend that I think I'm kind of getting out of, but it's like ripped jeans. Like I always had a pair of ripped jeans. Like my mom's always talk about, oh, put this on with some ripped jeans, this and that. So like boyfriend jeans. And so as of late, just because like of how I'm skinny now, and I haven't really like invested in like a good pair of boyfriend jeans that fit me properly now. So sometimes I wear my old ones, but they're just like overly big. So I think I'm kind of getting out of that like ripped jeans like phase. But that's all I can really think of right now.
I definitely see where like the trends you guys were talking about and everything you were saying, I definitely see it. And I was actually picturing, I think like some of the outfits you guys used to wear with those, like ripped jeans for you, Demaya, that used to be a thing. And Brianna, I feel like black, like denim, like you wore a lot of black jeans and matching tops. Like that was really, that's so true. I think for me, a trend that I kind of leaned into is definitely patterns. Like, oh my goodness, like leopard print, whatever kind of pattern you can think of. I was definitely interested in, even if I didn't buy a full collection, I definitely bought enough that honestly it was to my detriment because it kind of made after like 1 or 2 wears, it kind of made the item useless to me. I didn't really want to wear it over again. And it just started to look worse like as time went by. But I was just really into that trend just because I felt like it was so cool. And I think I'm phasing out of it now. I don't see myself buying anything like that anytime soon, just because I don't know how useful it'll be. And I want to be more, you know, smart about my wardrobe. And another trend, I think I mentioned that I liked earth tones, and there's definitely a huge trend around that right now. I think like coordinating earth tones and looking like as peaceful and serene. I think there's like a whole aesthetic now. There's an aesthetic for everything, but I think especially with earth tones, there's a huge aesthetic for it. And I definitely like I like a lot of the outfits from that aesthetic. I think a lot of people are good at putting things together. And like when I was scrolling the Instagram Explore page, I see a lot of outfits that I think are cute. And so I think it's like, I like picking out things, like certain things from each trend. Like I know there's also the Y2k aesthetic. That's like huge. Like this in the past, I don't even know, 6 months, I think that that aesthetic has really taken off, especially on TikTok. And I do like some pieces. Like I'm not exactly somebody who's gonna walk around in like, you know, those little tiny hoodies and low-rise jeans, but I think that there's certain things that I like from that. Like I like low-rise jeans. I like some of the cute little things. It's just like customizing it and making it more normal or make more comfortable. And me, I think that's where I would go with that. I think there's like so many aesthetics that I see nowadays that are like cute. It's just, I couldn't like force that to be my wardrobe just because it's too planned and like, it would just be too odd. Like, I don't want to build up so many clothes that are like all following a similar aesthetic because then I think I would feel trapped in my own style. So yeah.
Sometimes like Rihanna and Laurel do have the earth tone things like down pat, and that's a trend. Like, oh, I wish I could, you know, just can't get it just doesn't work for me. And sometimes I'm like, dang, like that looks good on them. Like I can never.
You know, that's actually interesting because I feel like you also like there's some earth tone things that you have. I feel like I saw you in some of those outfits. I don't know if it was last summer or something, but I think there was a moment where you had earth tones like down, like, and I think Brianna, like, she's definitely the queen of earth tones. But I was also gonna mention vests. Okay, I would say Demaya more so than Brianna, but I feel like Demaya thinks I'm obsessed with vests. I do like vests, but like I really don't have that many. But I like that trend. Like earlier, I had looked up like trends and stuff, like fashion trends, and I saw vests, and I think like I definitely do like the oversized vest look. I feel like that can definitely go into a more like, oh, cute professional, like oversized vest with a button up. Like I really like that trend. So yeah, I just wanted to say that.
She does, you guys.
You know, Demai, you know, I was thinking of when you were saying you can't pull off that earth tone, like there's a sweater, a hoodie that you have. Like Demai has this ability, I don't know, like there was a period of time, well there still is, but there was a period of time we would go thrifting a lot, and Demai would always somehow find a super nice quality zip up. And there's this one particular zip up that I'm like, where do you find this? And it was like a light beige, and it had some hints of green. I think it had like plants and stuff on it. And I'm like, bro, like this is actually really nice. And so like, I feel like she does have these small pieces of like earth tone, I guess, like clothing items, but the kind of like, they're not like new, like they don't have like a new cheap look to them. Like they have like a nice, they'll last for a long time look. So I feel like even though she doesn't wear them often, like the colors that she has in it are good pieces. But something that I also wanted to talk a little bit about was accessorizing your outfits. So Demai touched base on like you always had accessories, and for me, I only recently started to like see the importance of accessorizing. Not recently, but I mean like over the last 3 years. And so I just wanted to know what is something that you guys feel like, okay, this is an accessory that now I just feel like I need it with every outfit. Mine was rings. I only have one now, but in high school, I used to literally have just rings everywhere. Not everywhere, but you know, I would have a good amount. And the one thing I used to like about it was I used to find like, if I found a ring that kind of looked like, oh, this looks kind of cool, it had like an odd shape to it, I would wear it. And one side year in senior year, I was playing volleyball, and you have to take off your jewelry. Took them off, stupid me, put them to the side on the floor. And after practice, they were nowhere to be found. Like they got scattered so like, I don't know where they went. And I was like depressed because I went through college with like no rings. And that was like my comfort. Like I was like, oh, my fingers look so ugly now. Like I need something. And so now like, this is like the one ring that I wear constantly. And other ones, it's hard to find a good quality ring. Like, and I'm into gold now too. So like silver isn't really like my color anymore. So it's hard to find like gold rings that don't just change colors. So yeah.
For me, it's always been a necklace and a bracelet. This is trend from when I was younger, but like when Pandora was out, like me and like my sisters and Ajaya, like our moms, they always had Pandoras. And I would like be so excited to get new beads. And one time I remember the day in 5th grade, I was waiting outside to get let in the building, and it must have fell. And I was devastated because I had built that bracelet up to look so nice. So I always had a bracelet on, and then like when Alex and Ani were the thing, like I would have like 10 Alex and Anis on my arm. And I always have a bracelet on. So like now, like I have these just like chain bracelets because I right before I got these, like bangles were my thing. So everywhere my mom would go on vacation, like out of the country, oh, like, can you get me a real like silver bangle? So I have those sitting around too. And then like necklaces, because like shopaholic Sean, our parents would like go to like, it's really crazy, but the Tiffany store. So I would have like a Tiffany charm on all the time. So necklace and bracelets were always my thing. And I don't think like they'll ever stop being my thing because when I was younger, I couldn't really wear earrings. Like my ears would always get irritated. So there were years on end where I would not wear earrings. And then I just not recently, but in 6th grade, I like started getting into the nice clip-ons that Claire's had. I was so excited, like Claire's has nice clip-ons. But so earrings now, but for me, something you could always find on me is like a bracelet and a necklace.
I'm kind of in the opposite boat. I think I've never been one for like jewelry. I think jewelry can be fun, but it's just not something that I have a relationship with, that I want to wear it every day, or like I even think to. And so when it comes to accessories, I haven't really had much long-standing accessories that I still have. But I would say in the more recent year or so, I think like I always throw on a bag, or like I always want to have a bag on the side. And not even just like small purses, like I'll rather prefer like a big bag. And like more recently, it's like a tote bag. Like I have to have like a big bag, literally carrying useless things, but it's just like it throws my whole look together, even if I didn't plan to dress or to look nice that day. um I just like having it. Like I think it makes me feel like, okay, like I have everything and it just looks nice. And I really like bags that I find that are more so unique and not, Shein. I do have some Shein bags that I like, but even those I have to like, get the ones that look authentic. So yeah, I would say a bag is probably my most common accessory.
Brianna and Mahal, they're really into like, well, like Mahal said, she's into bags, and Brianna's like into purses. And it's just funny because I'll like be seeing them like with a new bag every time I see them, a different bag. Like they actually be switching their bags by the day. I have been having the same bag, the same stuff, and the same purse for about 2 years now. Because I remember I bought that brown purse that I always carry around. I brought it in sophomore year. So they're definitely taking the cake with that.
I feel like me, like I had like a weird, it was such a short period of time that I was like purse, like, and it's because I wanted to dress up every day. And so like there was a point, I think it was junior year when we lived in the apartments. I was like, I only have a limited amount of time to be outside, so I have to make it count every time. Like I need to feel like I'm going somewhere. So I would literally dress up just to go to Whole Foods, like, dress up just to stop at Target to get chips. And I'm like, oh, I want to get dressed. And I think that, on top of the like, shopping spree kind of retail therapy streak I was on, I just was like looking at all these bags. I'm like, oh, they're so cute. And one thing that I realized is that they were so small. Like I literally had to become a master of packing the hell out of those bags. Like, okay, here's the essentials: phone, chapstick, lip gloss, keys, wallet, pepper spray. Like, and if there was anything else, like it could or could not make it. And I think that as like I got more into like coming home and like having to actually run out and do things, less and less have I been able to switch out my bags. Like there was a point in time where I was buying lip gloss and hand lotion. Oh, that was another essential: hand lotion and hand sanitizer. I would buy them like, and we go to the dollar store and get all those like carry travel size and just throw them in the bag so that if I was switching it out, I didn't have to switch everything. Like, cause I'm like, all right, my lotion keeps getting lost. And every time I switch my bag, something goes missing. So let me just pop one in every bag. Now it's like, I think, like, let me count: 1, 2, 3. I have like 3 or 4 bags that are like my go-to because they're big enough and they still look cute. But yeah, like, I don't know what, like some of the bags that I had, like just yesterday, I was actually going through them because like behind my door, I have them all hung up and I can't even open my door all the way because it's like, they come, they're all packed together. And so yesterday I was looking at these bags and I'm like, there's a lot of these I'm not gonna wear. So I started giving them to my cousin because I'm like, okay, you can wear this one, you can wear this one. And it was just like, I don't know at what point I thought I was gonna wear these all the time, but like these colors just aren't regular day colors, like, and I'm not really gonna like, it's not like all these bags are gonna have a purpose for me. Like, like there's not that many outfits that I'll force myself to put together to wear this bag. And if I'm being honest, I'm getting tired of small bags. But when I do go out, that's where I keep the cute, tiny little statement bag, because that's what you do when you're going out. You have a cute little outfit on. You don't want to be carrying a mom purse. So I think I have a good artillery, but I think I'm done with those for now on. I mean, not for now on, but like for now.
So what's one luxury item that you guys would invest in?
I don't think that there's any item that I want now that's considered luxurious or that I would spend money on that I'm not used to. But I think it would probably be along the lines of like a jacket. I don't think when it comes to bags and stuff like that, I don't know if I'm comfortable with spending a lot of money on a bag, especially because a lot of the bags that are like very expensive these days, like Birkin bags and things like that, I just don't think are cute or like in my style at all. And so I think it would definitely be a clothing item, probably jacket. I've seen a lot of like new clothing brands and things like that who are trying to be like designer kind of brands. And they, like when it comes to jackets and sweaters and things like that, tops, definitely the price is making it like kind of a luxury under that category. So I think it would probably be jackets or things that I could have for a long time and wear repeatedly. I think that would be something I would consider. But there's no item that I have in mind specifically.
I was gonna say a coat. Like I would invest in a coat. Like obviously not. I'm not in a position to just be like, I don't believe in like getting luxury brands if you truly aren't in the position to do that. But you know, if I were to, if I did have that, I would invest in a coat and like a pair of boots, like some type of pair of boots, because to me, those are two things that you can have for forever. And those are things like, especially if it's luxury, then it's going to be quality. And so it's not going to get run down and like beat up. And so like with a coat, you can send it to the cleaners and take care of it. Like with boots, like those can get beat up. I don't really care about like, oh, I got to keep my shoes clean. So those are two. I know I asked about one thing, but those are two things I would invest in: is a coat and a pair of some type of pair of boots.
Yeah, I'm gonna third the coat thing because I hate being cold. And honestly, and not just any coat, honestly, like I want to, the only coat that I would really, the only two kinds of coats I would invest in is a trench coat and those long, puffy, thick, you know, fat looking coats. Like those are the only ones because I just like the way they look, but also I feel like they're worth the money. But something else that I would invest in is like jewelry. Like I would invest in good jewelry. And it's not really, jewelry isn't really like I feel like it's less of a luxury item because it's not like, there's no like super high jewelry brand like that I know of. I just know of like real jewelry and fake jewelry. So I feel like I wouldn't.
There is.
Well, not that I know of. That's what I'm saying. Like I wouldn't know of any. Like outside of like your K jewelers and stuff like that. Like, you know what I mean? Like I don't do research on jewelry like that. But I mean, there are some out there, but I just categorize it as like real jewelry, fake jewelry. But I would invest in real like quality gold jewelry because for one, like I know like to take your jewelry, you know, they say like, oh, take it off and all that stuff. And like as of right now, I'm like not in like the budget for like, okay, every item that I wear is going to be 24 karat gold or something like, but I do want to get to a point where I can find like, these are my statement pieces that I can wear every day and not have to worry about it looking dingy and all that stuff. And also like if let's say I get older or whatever, like I can pass them down and stuff, like they always have value. So I feel like that's something that I would want to invest in also. So those two things, coats and jewelry.
I didn't even think about the jewelry one. That was good.
All right, with that, we're gonna take a break. On this half, we sort of honed in on our own personal styles and what we kind of like were inspired by. But in the second half, we're gonna touch base on overall topics that come up a lot in the fashion world, and kind of wrap up our overall outlook on style. So see you soon. Hi guys. So we're back. She thinks she knows podcasts. And like I said in the beginning, before our break, we talked more about our personal styles and how it evolved and some of the accessories that we really, kept during our evolution of getting our personal style established. And now we're going to shift it a little bit into talking about more, I guess, popular topics related to fashion. But before that, we're going to just wrap up our last conversation. So what would you guys say is the alignment between your own sense of style and your outlook on life?
in the grand scheme of things, I think that I live kind of like an unconventional lifestyle. And it's very like, oh, like you do this, but you don't do that. Or, oh, I'm surprised. Like I don't see people doing that. So I think that a lot of times when I do put something to dress on, that's what it screams. Like I think a lot of times when I like walk in a room, like people know based on what she has on, oh, like she thinks about things differently. And that sounds cliche, but like it's actually true. So that's all I really have to say on that.
I think that for me, the things that I choose to wear in my style that I establish, it definitely expresses like what I think about and like just kind of my mindset, or the kind of person or like the kind of aesthetic I would like to go for. I feel like most recently, I think my style has been reflecting just like comfort and like what I feel comfortable in. And I guess an example of this is kind of like, I think for the past like probably since the summer started, I've been on kind of like a braless thing. And it's less of like a statement and more of a comfort thing. And I've definitely leaned into it. And I think my style and the clothes that I choose to wear, specifically tops, obviously reflect that. But also in a way, it's like, it just, I don't know, it's for the better, I think, because it's just things that I would prefer to wear anyway, but also makes sense because it's comfortable. And so I think that's kind of an example. So like however my mindset or however I'm feeling about something, I just like make a decision or like just however I'm changing, I think my style like reflects that, and you can kind of see a hint of my personality.
I think for me, my outlook on life has been more focused in like one, like things being meant to last. So like durability and also I would say, yeah. So I would say like overall, my outlook on life has been focused on like durability and I guess like natural and yeah, like sustainable. And so I think that and sophistication. So I feel like I'm in a period where I'm like trying to grow into like this mature person that's, you know, serious about things that I need to be serious about, but still enjoying the things in life. And so I think my style kind of reflects that in terms of like when I like want to go to, let's say, an event, I take it seriously. Like I don't just think like, oh, let me just throw this on. And so I put more time and effort into what I'm wearing because I feel like it speaks a lot about like how I value like myself. And also like with the sustainability part, like just trying to find better quality of clothes as opposed to just buying a lot of clothes. I feel like I wasted so much money buying things that wouldn't last. And I've kind of grown tired of that. And now I want to sort of evolve into just being able to like not be like not wear a shirt and feel like, okay, I wore this too many times. Like I feel like that became like this thing that's kind of weird because I used to value like good shirts that I can wear 10 different ways. And now it felt like for a period of time, it was like, oh, I can't wear this after I've worn it this many times. So like sort of just going back to quality clothing that I can have for 10 years, you know. I think that's sort of how my style matches with my outlook on life.
Speaking to what you just said about how there was a time period where you know, were buying things that wouldn't last, that definitely means that you were like, you know, you had a relationship with fast fashion, right? And I'm saying that because I think we all did at one point. And I definitely like, especially me, I think like I was strongly into Shein and brands like that, online fashion brands, where you buy a bunch of stuff and you do hauls, and then you get the stuff, you like half of it, you don't like the other half. But for me, you don't return it and you just let it sit in your closet and just take up space and waste money and like over and over again. So in a nutshell, fast fashion, what do you guys think have, what am I trying to say? What have you guys as a relationship been with that? And like, what are your thoughts on it now moving forward?
I think that it definitely does have its place. Like one of the things, like maybe a couple years ago, I used to like aspire to be like, oh, like I want to like style people, and I want them to like get like, I want it to be affordable. Like I don't want to like be a stylist that like says, oh, you have to have Gucci, you have to have this and that. And I think that it definitely has a place in society. Um, Kind of like Belchez said, and it made me think about it that way. But it does have a place because not everybody can afford that like luxury clothing. I'm still not in a place to be like, oh, I'm just getting away from all types of fast fashion, because even Zara, like that's fast fashion, it's better quality. So like there's levels to it. But I definitely do think that it has its place. In terms of like Amazon, I just wouldn't like Amazon fashion, because Brianna was just talking about that the other day. Personally, like I wouldn't give it a chance. But Shein, I haven't been on in months since my last haul, that I have things that I still haven't worn from it. Um, but there's certain places that I just wouldn't shop from. Just because I'm just like, okay, like I know, okay, the quality's not great, but you can find some good things on Shein, and I won't lie, like I don't be disappointed. So it definitely has its place. Um, but one thing I was also going to say was that, oh, that's what I was gonna say. Mahal mentioned like going on Shein hauls. Like I remember every time I would go on Shein, like I would order 10 items or more. Like there was never a time where I'm just ordering like, oh, this is a cute dress, like because they would draw me in like with the coupons, like, oh, you're a level 3, so you could get 15% off or blah blah blah. And then like when websites say like free shipping, so I'm like, well, I might as well go for the free shipping. So there's never been a time from Shein where I would get 10 items or less, even if it's like jewelry, like I'm getting 10 or more. I mean 10 or more. So the hauls definitely were very unnecessary, because like Maro said, even though I liked the thing, even though I would send some of the things back, the things that I thought I liked, I really didn't like. And so there's so many things that have gone to waste and that never have gotten worn, because I'm just being excessive. That's where the fast fashion industry, you take a left.
Yeah, I agree with that statement. I definitely think fast fashion becomes bad when you don't know how to use it. And so for a long time, I was like, I've had this like, I'm done with Shein energy for a while, because anytime I purchase stuff off of Shein, I'm like looking at it a year later, like, did I even wear this? Or how many times did I wear this? Like I wore like twice. So I think that I stepped out of it. But also, one thing that with fast fashion that's kind of like interesting is that you have like this huge surge of like Instagram shops. Like Instagram shops created this huge surge of like, you can get the same shirt from 7 different sites. And that kind of created this like challenge for like, so which one's actually good quality, which one's not gonna, what I wanted versus what I expected, which one's gonna play me, which one's cheaper, like, so it's making it makes it kind of hard to make a decision as to where to shop, because you have all these places that are like, oh, we have it and we have it. And then you also know like, okay, everyone's been like buying in bulk from like Alibaba and all those, and AliExpress and all those things. So you're just like, okay, well then I could just get it from there. But like, it's so much uncertainty around it that it makes it hard for me to confidently shop that way, because I'm like, what am I even going to get? But on the flip side, there are also moments when you're like, okay, like for example, there's this one shop, Sunny Days, that I had found on Instagram, and they had these like pattern dresses. I'm like, oh, these are so nice. Like, oh, and then I look at the price and they're like 100 something or 50. I'm like, like that's a bit steep for a dress. And so me trying to save a coin, I'm like looking on YouTube, like, okay, what are the reviews on this site? Like And I found people like literally bought the dress off Amazon, like, you know, like for like $16. And so I'm like watching the review and they're like, yeah, like I got this dress. And ever since, and once I found the dress on Amazon, I purchased it because I'm like, okay, with Amazon, free returns, like it's, you know, no hassle. With these shops, there's always conditions and things like that. So I'm like, let me buy it off Amazon and see how it looks. And it was a nice dress. Like it fit me nice, all this stuff. I'm like, I was willing to spend $100-something. Like I was heavily considering actually purchasing it just because I was like, oh, I really like it. Only to really find it on Amazon with the same pictures. And then at that point, I just started seeing the dress everywhere. So I'm like, yo, like what? Like it's hard to trust these things. But I definitely feel like right now, when you're in the stage where like you're budgeting, you're not really like, I'm not gonna be spending $50, $80 for a t-shirt that, you know, like for a fitted tee. You know what I mean? It's not that deep for me. But I definitely feel like there's some benefits to it. Like for example, for me, jeans is like something that's like, okay, like I'm not gonna, there's one time I got these really nice jeans off of Shein that are like, oh, okay, like these are doing me good. But at the same time, like those are hit or miss. So I feel like in a sense like that, like I wouldn't want to move towards fast fashion. I would still want to like search around for like maybe a quality, like a more quality material or something like, but I think they've made their way, especially for younger people. I feel like that's where fast fashion's like good, because when there's young kids who want to get into like dressing and all that stuff. I know for me growing up, like I didn't know about all of these sites, or they were just like really sketchy back then. Like you were not, you know, about to test your money on one of these stores when I was younger. So like all we had was really like the mall and outlets and things like that. And so I feel like now that it's kind of easy to access all the styles that you want and you don't have to pay so much money for it, like it's a good way for people to kind of establish their own style earlier on in life instead of waiting until they're older and they have the money and they can buy little pieces here and there. So yeah, that's my relationship with it. But I haven't really been shopping with any of those. Like, I feel like, actually I'm lying. Like I still shop at like ASOS and like H&M. I feel like H&M is kind of fast fashion now. So like those stores I will shop at, but yeah. But moving on from that. So we're approaching our fall season, and something that I'm always seeing on TikTok is like fall essentials, you know, 2021 fall essentials. Like, so do you guys have any? And to that note also, what is your favorite season to dress in?
My favorite season to dress in is fall. And right next to that is spring, because I feel like for the most part, some of the pieces are interchangeable, maybe except for the color schemes. But some of my fall essentials would be, one is always a jean jacket. Like ever since I was a kid, like I always would wear, like I would always have a jean jacket. And as of late, like I hadn't really had like, oh, a jean jacket that I have that I wear. I'll be wearing my mom's, but I want to get one because I really do like jean jackets. So that's one for me. And a pair of boots. Like I remember like Chelsea boots. And I don't care. I don't care how much money they cost. I don't care if I have the money for them. I'm buying a pair of cowboy boots this season. I need to hurry up because that's becoming a trend, and I've been wanting them for some time now, and I'm gonna get really annoyed, but I'm still gonna get them. But boots are another essential for me, because I feel like you can literally wear boots with anything. Like last season, like my favorite thing to do was wear boots like with a sweatsuit, and I really did like that. And this summer I wanted to wear like boots in the summer more, but it was just way too hot. But I think like boots, you can never go wrong, whether it's cowboy boots, whether it's Chelsea boots, you just can't go wrong with them. So those are my two fall essentials: a jean jacket and a pair of boots.
I think that fall is also my favorite season, I think, to dress for. It's just my favorite season in general, I think. And I think after fall will be summer. I think summer Honestly, it's not even about the style aspect. I just love throwing random stuff on, like leaving the house, especially since it's hot and you don't have to think so much. When it comes to fall, I think it's just like a good opportunity to dress because it seems like kind of a refreshing, like hitting reset type of season. And I think you get to push out a whole different wardrobe than you wore in the season before. And with that being said, I'm honestly to this point, I'm like kind of anti jean jackets. They're just not my thing. They're just not my thing at all. I think that they're cute. It's just I never like if I'm always putting I'm stuttering. If I put one on, like when I'm, trying clothes on, it just never looks right on me. And so, I'm gonna have to start, I don't know what I'm gonna do with these jean jackets in my closet, but I'm gonna have to start phasing them out. I do like a good like sweater type of look. I like oversized sweaters. I like cardigans, maybe not as much as I used to like cardigans. I just like the different layers you can wear, and I like following kind of like the, earth tones, but then also the fall colors. I like wearing pants, you don't, I feel like in the fall, I don't wear as much jeans as I do like just other pants. So yeah, I really like the fall.
I think my favorite season to dress for is like spring, summer. Fall, I feel like goes by so fast that I can't actually enjoy getting like dressed for it because winter's right around the corner. And that's what I'm really thinking about. Like I'm not even thinking about fall, I'm thinking about winter. And so my fall essentials are just things that I can easily transfer into the winter essentials. So like um boots for me, like, but just like black boots. Like I'm actually I'm into that. Like I guess that's a trend. Like I guess that's a trend now. Like those different, like having seven different pairs of black boots. Like I feel like I kind of like it. So that, and also loose pants so I can layer up because jeans, I feel like jeans for the winter, like skinny jeans, are I have to like I won't be able to wear them. So like a good hoodie, nice loose pants that kind of look nice, but I can still put like leggings under. Um, and I think like for this fall, a look that I kind of an essential, I guess, that I kind of want to get into is like the sweaters, the sleeveless sweaters, because I had seen a few that just look so cute, and I'm like, I still want to get away with wearing a few heel looks for the fall, and so I think like I can pair a nice like sweater look with heels. So yeah, I think that's like one of the essentials that are going to be for me this fall. Yeah. So I think to wrap this all up, the last question would be, what is the significance of personal style to you? And I know we've talked about obviously our personal style and our thoughts on it, but if you can sum it up to like 3 sentences, what would that be?
Okay, I think that the significance of my personal style is to connect with parts of myself that aren't so obvious or aren't so apparent on the forefront. I think, I have a lot of thoughts and I have a lot of ideas. I think like when something resonates with me, like style wise, I think it connects to a part of myself that maybe is kind of untapped. And so I think it's really interesting to explore sides of myself and different personas through style.
For me, I think like what you wear or how you go out the house is what people will see about you. And so thinking about that, it's important to me that like I represent myself well when I go out because I could talk a good game, but I want to look to part as well. And so when I think about like in the morning when I wake up, okay, how am I representing myself? That's where the significance of personal style to me comes in. And like I'm going to instill that in my children and so on and so forth.
So for me, I think it's important. What's significant about having a personal style is that it builds your character and your confidence in multiple areas of life. If you're able to put on what you feel like is good for you, regardless of how, other people may, see it, I think that translates into how well you'll be able to express yourselves in other areas of life. So that's why I think it's really important.
Honestly, I really enjoyed this conversation because we talk about our style and fashion and stuff, but I think this format like let us get out a little more or brought the conversation to another place. So I really appreciate this conversation. But that brings us to the close of this episode. So make sure that you follow us on Instagram at She Thinks Pod, to be updated and to really get some behind the scenes of our everyday lives, as well as subscribe to our channel on YouTube, because we also do post a lot of different content on there as well. But until the next time, goodbye, everybody.
Bye.